No.
The bottom line is this. None of them will be here if you were sure. None of them will be here if
None
it
of us
wasn't a
will be here.
possibility.
None of us had multiple sex partners, bro.
First time me and her had sex, she came over and saw me. We had sex in Jordan's car.
That's a
did use
somebody made a fake
protection.
page.
Let me finish the
no.
statement.
Mine ain't lying.
Jordan.
Why is you lying to me,
Jordan, I'm not lying to you.
Man, if this not my baby, I'm through with this.
Miss Johnson, not only that, you slept with 2 of my cousins.
I slept with 1.
2.
1.
2.
Oh, so are you testifying that you believe your cousin, not your brother?
Miss Moore drops a bombshell on Judge Lake so big it could make a reality TV producer weep with joy. She's been keeping a juicier secret than a season finale cliffhanger from her son for nearly 3 decades. This saga involves an affair, paternity doubts, and enough family drama to fuel a telenovela marathon.
To present his case against you. You haven't seen your son since a lifelong secret came exposed just 2 months ago. The court has already issued a paternity test and those results...
Can you believe what just happened? So, Mr. Weeks is spilling the tea about how his family's rumor mill has been churning faster than a gossip blogger on Deadline. These whispers and side eyes at family gatherings made him more skeptical about his origins than I am about my diet's cheat day turning into a cheat year. And just when you thought it couldn't get more bonkers, hold on to your hats.
How you became suspicious that the man that raised you may not be your
Well,
biological father.
It started around like I was 9 years old. I kept hearing rumors from outside family members that Maurice might not be my father or I might not be his son.
Holy moly, did you see that? Miss Moore is playing it cooler than a cucumber in a freezer, claiming she'd have spilled the beans if only her son had popped the question. It's like saying, oh, I would have totally told you about your surprise birthday party if you just asked. Stick around because the next part is a doozy.
I listened to my mom. She said, Maurice, it's your father. That's in the subject.
Now,
Okay,
Ms. Moore,
but
you
I
said
had-
that he never asked you.
He never asked me. And quite honestly, if my son had asked me, I would have told him, but I would have also told him not to say anything because I didn't want my mother to know.
You were reluctant just because you didn't want your mother to reject him.
Buckle up, folks. Mr. Weeks finally confronts his mom about the daddy dilemma, leading to her shrugging her shoulders like she's trying to decide what to have for dinner. Could be this guy, could be that guy. Who's to say? This bombshell moment could probably turn their family tree into a family bush. But wait, it's about to get even juicier.
Just plain blank, you can't lie to me no more. I can't hear that Maurice Weeks is your father. I had to know the truth.
And I have no problem with that because I want to know.
She came to me and said, I don't know who is your father.
No way. Did that just happen? Miss Moore is standing her ground like a lone warrior in a battlefield, defending her title as Mom of the Year, secrets and all. She talks about her sacrifices like she's been on a reality show called Survivor, the parenting edition. You're not going to want to miss what's next. It's mind-boggling.
I wasn't going to jeopardize that to take that away from my son, who Earl know for a fact had a baby. Earl was on the road with this man. He bonded with this man. He loved this man. This man loved him. I wasn't going to change.
This is too much, and it's confession time. Miss Moore's emotional turmoil could win an award for Best Dramatic Performance as she navigates the choppy waters of hope, fear, and what the heck have I done regarding her son's upbringing. It's like watching a behind-the-scenes featurette of every parent's inner monologue. But hold on, the next scene will knock your socks off.
Mr. Weeks, did you grow up loving Maurice?
I grew up crazy about this man. Like I had to be in his pocket just to make sure he don't leave me.
That's true.
It just hurt, Your Honor. It hurt that comes as a child of both of them. I had to come to them.
Are you ready for this? Oh, Miss Moore and Ms. Walker go head-to-head, turning the courtroom into a verbal WWE match, but with more class and less spandex. Their exchange is so fiery, it could roast marshmallows. But keep your eyes peeled, because what comes next is the cherry on top.
I don't owe you nothing.
You owe me everything.
I don't owe you nothing. I owe it to myself. I owe it to myself. I didn't make no babies with you.
It's too late.
It is never too late. It is never too late.
Jerome, can you step up between them, please?
This is unreal. The emotional roller coaster hits its peak when the paternity test results are unveiled, proving that plot twists aren't just for novels. The man who played Dad isn't the biological ticket holder, sending shockwaves through the courtroom like a dropped mic at a rap battle. This revelation not only serves a slice of heartbreak, but also dishes out a reality check that's harder to swallow than my aunt's holiday fruitcake. And just when you think you've seen it all, the next twist is going to be epic.
As it relates to Mr. Earl Weeks, Mr. Weeks, the man who has raised you for the past 29 years is not your biological father. Help her.
No, don't change her
Help
too
her.
much.
The episode kicks off with Mr. Rich practically bursting at the seams for some clarity, while others can't help but chime in, turning the room into a verbal ping-pong match. The judge, in a bid to avoid a full-blown circus, calls for calm as accusations start flying like pies in a slapstick comedy. The tension and emotional fireworks make it clear we're not in for a snooze fest, but a roller coaster of feelings and legal drama from the get-go.
Mr. Rich,
Go back up.
you came here to get an answer.
I have not called him lately.
I don't care, man.
I mean, hey, my phone tells it all.
Shit.
Calm down.
Your Honor,
Calm
that was
down.
a nice speech. That was a nice speech, but that's all it was, a speech.
Can you believe what unfolded? Ms. Holman goes into meltdown mode, showing just how much this legal tangle has frayed her nerves. The judge, in a surprising twist of empathy, steps into the role of unofficial therapist, recognizing the tough spot Ms. Holman's in, trying to navigate the truth through a fog of emotions, all the while wishing she could just Netflix and chill her worries away. Just you wait, the next part is even more jaw-dropping.
I see you breaking down. That's okay.
Truth coming out.
Not about
no,
the truth.
listen.
I'm not a bad person.
listen.
I do bad things.
Look at
There's
me.
a difference.
Look at me. You've admitted to where you've gone wrong, and you've also allowed us to see a little piece of what your real heart.
Just when you thought it couldn't get more intriguing, here comes the plot twist. Mr. Rich is not just about the money, folks. The judge tips his hat to Mr. Rich's maturity and heart of gold, painting him as the unsung hero of the courtroom drama. It's a moment that adds a dash of nobility to the paternity puzzle, making us wonder if Mr. Rich might just be the Prince Charming in this twisted fairy tale. The emotional roller coaster doesn't stop here. Up next is a confession that will tug at your heartstrings.
Take a
It
deep
is what
breath.
it is,
Listen,
though.
you want the truth? That's what I'm trying to get for you, but you gotta let me get it. You want to know? I'm giving you the truth, but you've gotta sit through and you've gotta listen. We're here now and we're gonna get through this. We can't get to the other side. We cannot get to the other side unless we go through. We're going through. Mr. Matthews, thank you for joining us.
Yes, ma'am.
We've heard significant testimony today.
Brace yourselves for the raw emotion, Mr. Matthews' testimony and emotional investment. Mr. Matthews steps up, laying bare his heart and his hopes of being Alani's dad. It's a soap opera-worthy confession that adds another layer of emotional complexity, reminding everyone that at the heart of this legal kerfuffle is a child caught in the crossfire of grown-up problems. Stay tuned as Ms. Holman's tale up next is as entangled as it gets.
I met Mrs. Holman probably about 4 years ago. I met her through Facebook, and we hung out, and we clicked. And then there on 4, we had a sexual relationship on and off.
When did the sexual relationship start?
I can't recall. That it's a possibility that I could be the baby's father.
You've had an ongoing sexual relationship with Ms. Holman for the past 4 years?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
And you believe you could be Alani's biological father?
Yes, ma'am. And I was,
So you went to doctor's appointments as well?
yes, ma'am.
Do you want to be her biological father?
I mean, if I am, I'll accept it as my own.
You won't see this coming. Ms. Holman's confession and justification. Ms. Holman takes the stand, and it's confession time. Her tale of love and confusion is more tangled than last year's Christmas lights, shedding light on her journey through the murky waters of relationships and paternity, all in the quest for truth and maybe a bit of daytime fame. But hold on, the saga draws nearer to an emotional crescendo that promises to leave no heart untouched.
Now, granted, have I been with all 3 of these men? Yes. How do you know there's only these 3 men? Because I gave them these 3 men. No. Name. This is my truth. Here it is. It's ugly. Now I'm trying to get to the bottom of it.
Exactly.
Your Honor,
Exactly.
what I'm saying is it boils down to
Exactly. No.
The bottom line is this. The bottom line is this. None of them will be here if you were sure. None of them will be here if
None
it
of us
wasn't a
will be here.
possibility.
None of us had multiple sex partners, bro.
The anticipation builds up, emotional resolution, and readiness for results. The judge, dabbling as a wise old sage, preps the courtroom for the big reveal with a pep talk on self-worth that could rival any motivational speaker. It's a heartwarming lead up to the moment of truth, setting the scene for a resolution that promises more twists than a pretzel factory. And now, the moment we've all been waiting for. The paternity results are about to be unveiled. This is the climax you've been waiting for. Paternity results in conclusion. Drum roll, please.
If you gotta look in the mirror every morning and say, I am worth it, you have to tell yourself. You have to encourage yourself. Do you understand me? It's not easy. You're not the only woman out here in the fight, or man. Every day we wake up and we have to remind ourselves, you worth it. I slept with this guy on Thursday, you still worth it. I slept with this guy on Friday, you still worth it. I lied to this guy on Sunday, you still worth it. I came up short over here, you're still worth it. You're still worth it. You hear me? These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. The first envelope is for Mr. Rich. Mr. Rich is not the father. Mr. Matthews, you are not the father. Mr. Drumgold, you are the father.
Exactly.
The case of Funzie versus Irvin kicks off with Ms. Funzie dropping the baby bombshell. That little Joakim, barely old enough to throw a proper tantrum, is supposedly Mr. Irvin's mini-me. Mr. Irvin, however, isn't buying what she's selling, especially since Ms. Funzie had previously spilled the beans about a steamy affair.
Ms. Funzie, you have opened your case to save your family. You are here to prove your 1-month-old baby, Joakim Irvin, is your boyfriend, Mr. Irvin's biological son. You say you and Mr. Irvin have 2 other children, and you plan to have this 3rd child. You blame his sister for stirring up his ridiculous doubts. Is that correct?
So, what you're about to hear is the straight out of a soap opera. Ms. Funzie, clearly worried about their 7-year love saga turning into a tearjerker, voices her fears about Mr. Irvin's baby denial drama. The tension is thick enough to cut with a knife, and not even a batch of freshly baked cookies could sweeten the souring relationship. But folks, you won't believe what's coming next.
My family's on the line. I love Jordan. We've been dating going on 7 years and been dating since the 10th grade. And the denial that he has towards my 1-month-old child, Joakim, which we plan to have together.
And just when you thought it couldn't get any juicier, cue the dramatic music as Ms. Funzie's side hustle with another man comes crashing into the spotlight. Mr. Irvin turned detective, snooping through her phone like he's auditioning for a spy movie, and discovers the incriminating sleepover at a friend's house. Stick around, because you haven't seen anything yet.
How did you find out she cheated?
One day I couldn't sleep, so here it is, 4 in the morning. I seen her sleeping and her phone was right beside her. Some told me to just go through her phone. So I found out that she spent the night at her friend's house with this other guy.
But I came to him and let him know that I cheated on him.
After he
She
found
didn't-
out, she always going out. He could never
He go out with his friends too,
no, he
also.
don't.
You'll need to sit down for this one. In a plot twist worthy of a daytime TV award, Ms. Funzie admits to her revenge cheating spree, framing it as a one-hit wonder to get back at Mr. Irvin for his own love crimes. She planned to come clean eventually, probably after binge-watching confessionals on reality TV. But wait, it's about to get even crazier.
I cheated the night of my friends because I had wanted to get revenge for him cheating on me. Once I talked to the guy, and I hooked up with him the night of my friend's dinner, and we had used protection, and I had sex with him one time.
So you had sex with this man one time?
Yes, and I used
And you
protection.
used protection?
Yeah.
Grab your popcorn, folks. The plot thickens when Mr. Irvin plays amateur gynecologist, scrutinizing the ultrasound like it's a treasure map, but can't make heads or tails of the pregnancy timeline. His suspicionometer is off the charts, thinking Ms. Funzie might have pulled a fast one with the paperwork. And oh boy, what's next is just unbelievable.
How soon after you found out she was cheating, confronted her,
I'd say
did you find out she was pregnant?
When we went to the mobile ultrasound, I wanted to see how many weeks she was, and when she came out with the paper, I couldn't understand the number of how many weeks she was. Like they drew the number in cursive or something.
They drew 1 week and 2 days, and you saw the lady hand me the paper off the bus. You parked right outside, and you saw her hand me the paper.
I didn't know if she was pregnant by me or someone else, so I just let it go.
By him.
Because you were concerned about the date.
Yes.
But it should have been on the paperwork.
Yeah, it was.
I
It was
couldn't
a week and 2
understand the
days.
paperwork.
Just when you think you've seen it all, despite the swirling paternity drama, Mr. Irvin steps up to the plate, attending every prenatal appointment and even signing the birth certificate. Judge Lake raises an eyebrow, wondering if Mr. Irvin's just a hopeless romantic or setting himself up for a world of legal headaches. The next part will have you on the edge of your seat.
Did you sign the birth certificate?
Yes.
And you signed the birth certificate even though you had doubt? Why?
Cause I wasn't sure whether he was mine or not, and I wanted to do the right thing by it, cause I was there.
I truly understand your sentiment and that it comes from a good place. You do understand that that's a bad decision when you have paternity doubt.
I told him that. If you got doubts, don't sign that birth certificate, because whether that's your child or not, you're gonna have, that's acknowledging, hey, I'm gonna be there for this child for 18 years.
Are you ready for this? Ms. Funzie, in a bid to play genetic detective, points to Joakim's knock knees as a family heirloom from Mr. Irvin's gene pool. Because obviously, knee angles are the new DNA test in town. You won't want to miss what comes after this.
They all have knock knees just like Jordan.
You even submitted evidence to the court, right, about the knock knees. You feel like they got the same
Yes.
knock knees. Oh, they're okay. They say they all got the same knees and the same body shape, and you say Joakim got the same thing.
Yes, Your Honor.
And you believe these knock knees are hereditary and the body shape is an indication.
This is where it gets downright wacky. Enter Dr. Eddie Richardson, the voice of reason, who basically says knock knees as a paternity test is about as reliable as using a magic 8-ball to make life decisions. The courtroom is left wondering what's next, a comparison of baby hair swirls, but hold your horses, the roller coaster isn't over yet.
Sir, I'd like to know from you, can you explain what knock knees are and if they are a genetic trait?
I certainly can, Your Honor. Yes, knock knees, it is when the knees point in toward each other, and more technically, when someone stands straight up and there's about a 3-inch gap between their ankle and they can't put their legs together, but the knees are together. Kids go through this as they're born. They actually can have bow legs and then go into knock knees, and then they straighten up by the time they're 6 to 8 years old. I would say, my expert opinion, it would be very difficult to determine this at this age.
Okay.
Knowing that the variants happen in children less than 6 years old.
So, Ms. Fonzie, as you listen to Dr. Richardson's testimony, does that change your belief?
Y'all understand what he's talking about, but it's still, they all have knock knees.
Brace yourselves for a wild ride. Just when you think it couldn't get any messier, the other man spills the tea, claiming their one-time rendezvous was more like a mini-series with multiple episodes. Ms. Funzie's credibility is hanging by a thread thinner than the plot of a bad soap opera. You're not going to believe what happens next.
So this courtroom has tracked down this other man. He has submitted a statement to the court. It says, we eventually got each other's phone numbers and started texting. She told me about the things that was going on between her and Jordan. The first time me and her had sex, she came over and saw me. We had sex in Jordan's car.
That's a
and did use
somebody made a fake
protection.
page. That's
You said
Jordan,
it.
that's a lie. You know
Finish
that
the
post, bro.
statement. Let me finish the statement.
Mine ain't lying.
Jordan.
Why is you lying to me?
Jordan, I'm not lying to you.
Man, if this not my baby, I'm through with this relationship.
Okay, that's fine.
I hope you're sitting down for this bombshell. Under the glaring courtroom lights, Ms. Funzie crumbles like a cookie under interrogation, admitting to not just one, but a series of rendezvous. The truth bomb detonates, leaving their relationship in shambles and the court gasping for air. But wait, there's more. The grand finale is up next.
No.
Or did you have sex with this other man more than one time?
Yes or no?
Yes.
I'm sorry?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, it was more than one time, or it was a one-night stand?
It was more than one time.
You go get
Okay.
it.
You won't see this twist coming. In a finale that no one saw coming, except maybe everyone, the DNA results cast Mr. Winfield as
The biological father is Mr. Winfield.
I knew it. I told you. I knew it wasn't his baby. When
hold
mama
on.
went to the hospital and
Miss
seen that
Irvin.
baby, she knew it wasn't.
you
A
can-
mama know they
Calm down,
child.
The show starts with Judge Lake, supercharged on his morning brew, zipping through his hello to what's going to be the courtroom showdown to remember. Ms. Johnson, after a long time playing Guess Who with her memories, decides it's finally time to figure out who Damien's dad is. She's pointing her finger at the defendant's late brother, kicking off an episode that's going to twist and turn more than a bag of pretzels.
Ms. Johnson, after years of pain and suffering, you've petitioned the court for a DNA test to answer the question your son Damien has had all his life. Who is my father? You believe the defendant's deceased brother, Mr. Damien Ellerson, is the answer, and the DNA results will prove that today.
Ms. Fortune's not buying what Ms. Johnson's selling, mainly because Ms. Johnson's love life's been more like a game of musical chairs. Even though she's giving Ms. Johnson the stink eye, she admits if her bro is the dad, it's kind of a big deal, making her feelings messier than a mixed up Rubik's Cube.
You claim your brother cannot be the father because Ms. Johnson has admitted to sleeping with other men. But if today's results prove he is the dad, he would be his only biological child.
Then there's Damien, stepping into the limelight, ready to solve the Who's My Daddy mystery that's been tailing him forever. His search for the truth is more addictive than your favorite series, showing just how much this dad dilemma's been bugging him.
Mr. Damien Johnson,
Yes, Your
you
Honor.
lived for years without knowing who your father is, and today you hope to finally have the truth. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Get ready for the waterworks as Ms. Johnson goes down memory lane, talking about her and Mr. Damien Ellerson. It's so sappy, you'll need tissues or maybe the whole box as she spills their love story. Sappy enough to be a bestseller.
Why are you so positive Mr. Ellerson is Damien's biological father?
Damien, he was my first love. I would do anything for him. We were together all the time. And it just, I know in my heart that he is his father.
And you say it was your first love?
Yes.
What was it about him you loved?
Just his energy and his smile. I mean, he was like he didn't have a care in the world.
It makes you emotional to see his picture.
It does, because I'd give anything to have him back.
Just when you think it can't get any crazier, boom. Turns out Damien's dad could be one of a few guys Ms. Johnson, stirring the pot, throws in not one, but 2 names for the paternity test, making this family drama a real whodunit.
He waited until a week before his 13th birthday to have a DNA test done at home. And my son comes home, being at his house for the weekend, and he said, "Mom, my dad stuck a Q-tip in my mouth and said he was checking to see if I had any diseases."
Whoa. Tell me about that day. You were visiting the man you believe to be your biological father.
The dude that's supposed to be my dad signed my birth certificate. He pretty much was all on a roll like, yeah, we're just checking to see if he had any diseases. What's going on? He just checking to see if he had any diseases. So later on that day, I ended up going home with him, and then I ended up going home to my mom after he dropped me off.
And so, Ms. Johnson, you remember that day, and at some point, did you get the results?
Yes, and it came back that he wasn't his.
Oh.
And then he just stopped talking to me. He just like left me, just no dad.
So, Ms. Johnson, that's what leads you to now believe Mr. Ellerson is Damien's biological father.
Yes.
Because the other 2 gentlemen who you thought were are not possibilities.
Right.
In a plot twist fit for daytime TV, another guy jumps in with a secret DNA test, mixing up the story and adding himself to the maybe daddies list. This new twist sends the dad mystery into chaos, more tangled than a bowl of noodles.
She told me that she was deeply in love with him, you know, like sexually and of course all that when around the time I was born, you know, 96. So it could be a possibility, but we never really figured it out because, you know, he's deceased. My mom shows me pictures and everything. I do look like him, you know, and it's out of all the dudes she does show me, he is the one that I do look like.
So when you look at the picture, you feel like you see a resemblance. Did you meet his family?
I met him once when I was 12 or 13.
Ms. Johnson, you know, gave her pictures and stuff, and that he might be my brother's son. So in a way, my mom believed it, kinda, but it was just too emotional. And far as me, kinda, but I don't think so.
The courtroom turns into a wild ride of emotions as family and possible dads testify, each adding their own spice to this complicated relationship soup. The air's thick with drama, hopes, and fears as everyone adds their bit to the dad hunt, making it an epic search for truth and where you belong.
Ms. Johnson, not only that, you slept with 2 of my cousins.
I slept with 1.
2.
1.
2.
Oh, so are you testifying that you believe your cousin, not your brother, could be Damien's biological father?
Yes.
Ms. Johnson, you did sleep with Mr. Ellerson's cousin?
Yes, I did.
Well, that cousin is here, and I think we need to hear from him. Jerome, you're Mr. Ellerson's cousin.
I am.
Also had a sexual relationship with Ms. Johnson.
I did.
Your cousin, Miss Fortuné, said that she believes you could in fact be Damien's biological father. What do you say to that?
I mean, myself, I don't believe I am, but I mean, there's always a possibility.
Why don't you believe you are? Do you admit having a sexual relationship with Ms. Johnson?
Yes, I do.
Was the sex protected?
No, it wasn't.
And since being told that Mr. Henley could potentially be your biological father, have you tried to develop a relationship at all with him?
I have not, but at this time, it would be nice to know who my dad is. You know, everybody else got their dad, everybody else growing up have their dad there. I don't, you know, so it'd be nice to be able to call somebody dad, you know. My mom, growing up, my mom's been my dad, so, and I've been my own dad, so, you know, it'd be nice. It's rough, but that's why we're here today, to figure it out.